Well, during Thursday's hearing, the public wasn't able to see the testimony given as that portion of the hearing was closed. But today we were able to see two detectives who worked the case from Idaho to Pennsylvania and testified.
All right, we are back on the record in State v. Kohberger.
Bryan Kohberger back in court for day 2 of his evidence hearing.
The government cannot seize the haystack to look for a needle.
Kohberger is accused of murdering University of Idaho students Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, and Xana Kernodle in November of 2022. His attorneys are fighting for nearly all the evidence collected be thrown out. They say police illegally obtained his DNA through genetic genealogy, which they argue violates his Fourth Amendment rights. Prosecutors say there is nothing unconstitutional about using that type of evidence. The defense also argued evidence was illegally collected from Kohberger's digital history, something focused heavily on when two detectives from the Moscow Police Department took the stand Friday.
How did the state come into possession of Bryan's phone?
Obtained via the warrant in Pennsylvania.
The defense says some of the warrants were broad and failed to incorporate the affidavit. The prosecution disagreed.
Each one of them listed that they were specific to the type of crime, the location, and all but one of them had temporal limitations.
One detective also talked about the moments leading to Kohberger's arrest.
You were in Pennsylvania for Mr. Kohberger's arrest, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When you were observing preparations, what were you observing?
So they were doing their final preparations, going over their approach, team member assignments, so on and so forth. This was all done via basically a briefing in front of everybody.
And do you recall that the preparations included that in preparation they were going to knock and announce in execution?
I believe that was brought up, yes, ma'am.
For the family of Kaylee Gonzalez, who traveled to Boise for this hearing,
they've put us through hell.
They told Fox and Friends all they want is justice.
Her only mistake was to go to bed that night, and somebody broke into her home and killed her.
And the judge said he would issue a ruling when it comes to the motion to suppress at a later time. There was also talks about a Franks hearing related to the investigative genetic genealogy, which would determine whether a law enforcement officer lied or provided false information to get a search warrant. Judge Stephen Hippler has not decided if that will happen just yet. Shira Matsuzawa, Fox 13 News.